reading. Those are original copies of projections. And I present to you this motion to disqualify members of the board to be acted on accordingly. I believe.
Who is it? Who's getting disqualified?
Be any member seeking election for an office related to the office of the candidate which is objected to.
Related to?
My interpretation, my non-legal opinion, you would be qualified to sit on this board if you are not seeking re-election. But any person seeking election to an office with relation to the candidacy which the office is objected to.
Okie dokie.
Interpret that as you will. I'm not a lawyer, so I'll leave it with that.
Neither am I.
Thank you.
I can barely read.
I am submitting to both people involved my recusal
Thank you.
from the board. On the basis of conflict of interest.
Okay, it's 2 minutes till 7. So I'm going to make small talk here for just a minute. You're wearing a suit. That means by definition you're smarter than I am. Tell me about yourself.
God bless you. What do you want to know?
How are you an uninterested? Are you an uninterested party here?
I'm not in this township at all.
Okay.
We spent our day in Springfield doing stuff over there at the Capitol on some bills, and we did a videoing of the electoral board down in Shelbyville, and
Okay.
we're told you guys were having one, so we came over here.
All righty. Well, I'm a bit at sea here, and I'm looking for expertise that I don't necessarily have to pay attention to. Okay, I guess it's close enough to, nope, 6:59.
How you doing, buddy?
I could go throw my coat and tie back in the truck if you want.
Yeah, well, I started and I thought I just really am not smart enough to know what I want to ask you.
Not a problem.
You have it right here. You have 5 kids.
No, you're welcome.
I'm John.
Working on it.
Kirk Allen. I don't have anything to do with this. Okay.
5 months next week.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. There is no board seated. There's not enough people to do anything, so I guess that's the end of it. Oh, no, excuse me, the end of it for tonight. Does that seem reasonable to everyone?
Why is there no board seat?
She recused herself. He just handed me a paper that, let's look at it here. Maybe I ought to read that paper more closely. Made a motion to disqualify the electoral board. And I guess I could just say no to the motion for now, right? Oh. You want to be on this? No? Okay. I'll accept it then. You're off. I'll accept the motion. I'm the only person sitting here. And that's not enough people to do anything. Right?
You have another trustee here?
It's not.
Marvin Daybolt right there is
No, the law says that the next thing I do is go talk to the circuit clerk, or circuit judge. The way I read this.
Okay.
And then
You're
he
in charge.
appoints- Huh? Well, thanks for pointing that out.
I can't even file my dismissal, is that right?
This is
You
it.
can
This is,
file
I
anything
don't
you
know.
want. He files stuff.
Yeah, he filed stuff.
Well, I'll take it up there and file it. I don't know. They have to accept it one way or another.
Improper. Mr. Fortune didn't follow everything just right, so we're asking for dismissal.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
sure.
Since it's not a meeting, can we be informed of what's going on?
Sure,
We're interested.
yeah,
I'm not asking to do it as a legally,
okay, well,
you know what I'm saying, binding.
I understand. Basically what it amounts to is there is one election of the 7 positions in this township, there is one election where 2 people actually won. The rest of them, just one person wants it. And the fact that 2 people want this position of road commissioner is upsetting, and we're trying to quash that where only one does. Somebody wants to quash that, so your
Who
vote,
voted, and why wouldn't that be illegal?
it isn't for some reason, because somebody complained. That's about as good as I can get. Somebody filed something, I don't even know the name of it. Filed a
Objection.
complaint. Objection, thank you. And, so now the electoral board of the township has to review it, and it's way more than I'm capable of doing.
I understand that.
And
What was
so
the objection for?
it wasn't right. I think the papers were filed with the wrong person.
No. Can I go ahead and,
Sure,
can I have the floor?
sure.
At our caucus, how many of us here? Quite a few of us here. We voted. My name was put on the ballot. I gathered up all the paperwork that night, and our supervisor and his uncle and his wife was in their room. I left all the paperwork there at night. It was actually clerk's responsibility. But she was at a ball game. I thought she'd come by. Well, anyway, I left the paperwork there. Those 3 was in his office. We all left. The next morning, Tuesday, I come over to work at the township, and I thought, well, I'll check on the paperwork. It was gone. Okay. In the meantime, I went to Colorado hunting. I thought the paperwork was done. Got back home the 19th, which was the last day to file, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And found out I wasn't in the courthouse. The paperwork was lost. So Tuesday, we met here, didn't we? Matt met here, I met here, and the wife, and Larry Lee, which is in the hospital right now. We came over here trying to find the paperwork. We searched his office, searched his truck, and it's nowhere to be found. So somebody out of 3 of his office took the paperwork.
Mr. Chairman, I find that to be dangerously close to an accusation, and I would suggest that this is not a public deliberation, that the individuals in this room be excused for the evening and go about our personal business.
I'm all for it. Go home.
I would
Just
ask,
a minute, Mr. Forkham. Oop, wrong one.
I would ask that, I mean, technically, you have an agenda for tonight, correct?
Yes,
I would ask that you follow your agenda accordingly, and if you're going to decide to do anything, vote on it accordingly and whatnot. But I would just want to remind, as a beginning of a public meeting, somewhere in this public meeting, you're obligated by law to have public comment.
okay. Go for it. Right now, let's have public comment while I read and try to figure out here.
Lane, you recognize this paper?
Yes,
That was done at the caucus meeting, wasn't it?
right.
That was in the bundle of papers left on the table. How did Mr. Forkham end up with that piece of paper when the paperwork was lost? Mr. Forkham, you got an answer?
That wasn't done at a caucus.
It was too.
That was a copy. That is not an original document, sir. That is not an original document. That was done after the caucus to replace the document in question. I did not illegally or nefariously obtain anything, sir.
Let me see that.
And I heartily despise that accusation.
That's 12/6. That's caucus night, wasn't it? 12/6?
How many names are on that sheet of paper, if I may ask?
4?
How many people were in attendance at the caucus? More than 4?
You were here?
That's the nominees there. That
That's
wasn't the
just the
paper who was
nominees.
here.
That's the nominees.
Yes.
Okay, well, I got that, to answer your question, that is a photocopy of
Of
a
the original.
photo taken of a document that I reviewed from the town clerk, which is filed with her, or at that time was filed with her. Whether filed properly or improperly, I can't attest to
At the
that.
next meeting, once we discovered everything was missing, because Mr.
Well, it's
Boyd
got
was
the
here.
December 6th on it.
That was
Okay,
a
I finally
reproduction of
found
the
an
document.
agenda, we're gonna stop and we're gonna start forward here. I've called the meeting, I'm gonna take a roll call. Who needs everyone? I don't know who's gonna be on that roll call. Pat Yakee's here.
Roll call of these board members.
The board members.
James Congerhide.
And she
Jessica
recused
Howe, but
herself.
I recused myself.
Okay, next is appointment of a Freedom of Information Act officer.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, for everyone's benefit, I would like it noted in your record that I was statutorily the chairman of that body and recused myself as well.
There you go, he recused himself too. Oh, I suppose I should be taking minutes.
Do all board members have to be notified of the special meeting?
No, only the three that sit on it.
Only the
Only the electoral boards.
electoral board members have the joy of the sheriff showing up at their doorstep, which did not happen.
Sounds like you're having fun at it.
I am. Okay, Matt recused. Jessica. Okay. Any guidelines? Anybody want a thought on a Freedom of Information Act officer? Don't even know what it is. Okay.
If I may, that has to be one of the board members who has completed their FOIA training.
Oh, shucks. I haven't done that.
Since I think you accepted his motion, maybe, I don't know, but you might want to wait until the judge appoints a new board.
Well, that's kind of what
Not
I,
that far yet.
I'll come to that at some time. Not at this rate?
You got an agenda, you're doing great.
Okay. All right, so I'm advised that maybe no one's qualified to be that. Okay, so now we're gonna review and approve rules of the procedure outlining, okay, preliminary motions. Is that what this is, that he handed me, Matt handed me about?
Yeah, any motions you get before you actually start the hearing process is a preliminary motion.
Okay, so
He
that would
gave
be.
you a preliminary motion and somebody else gave you one, the other guy over there.
Did you give me a motion of some kind, Larry?
Yes, I did. Did you miss it?
Huh?
There's two papers.
Okay, I've got a pile of papers here that I've shuffled now a bunch of times and I'm lost.
I've got another copy if you need it.
Well, how does your copy start out?
State of Illinois, Shelby County.
State of Illinois, County of
Exercise of
Shelby.
defense and motion strike and dismiss.
Larry's okay, affirmative, okay. So here's one. Get in the middle of somebody else's piss, imagine all you get is wet. Preliminary motions. So that was one. I'm going to say Jessica's was another one, to recuse herself. Jessica's recusal, Matt's recusal. Okay. Introduction of evidence. Oh, any more preliminary motions?
What, are you gonna act on the motion? I thought you acted on the motion to recuse yourselves because
Okay,
He
so,
said-
so I don't just accept them, I actually need to act on it.
here, I'm not an attorney.
I understand. I'll take any advice.
And I haven't read his motion, but if his motion alleges that you guys should not be sitting on the board.
Well, actually, I'm still good.
And if you don't have a quorum, then you can't do anything if you're going to accept his motion as true.
I think
and-
Jim asked me to accept his motion. So, okay, I accept his motion.
So then you really can't do anything else other than public
That's-
comment.
Okay,
until you
public
get a
comment,
quorum
have at
of
it.
Of the board to hear the complaint, or hear the objection.
So now I missed the last part. All I can do is listen to
Since
complaints.
since he's
Right.
recusing himself and you're accepting his motion to disqualify, then the only thing, in my opinion, that you can do now, since you can't hear the objection and you can't rule on his motion because you're not a board
Right,
right now, is hear public comment and go home for the night, and
Thank
then
you.
you'll have to contact the judge,
thank you.
kinda like Shelby County did, Shelby Township did.
I unfortunately didn't sit on that because I didn't know sit in on it because I didn't know I was gonna have to do it.
So-
Okay.
And you might wanna get with them, and see how they did that part.
Okay.
That's my opinion, since she's recused herself and you're accepting that he's unqualified, you're the only person left, you don't have a quorum
Okay.
to do the hearing, you can still do the rest of the meeting with the public comment.
Okay, we're gonna skip down to public comments then. Any more public comments?
I have one.
Sure.
What is he objecting for?
Well, that's a question, that's not a comment, just to help you out there a little bit.
Okay. Is he objecting for basically Larry to be road commissioner?
Well, that's the upshoot, is he doesn't want Larry to be road commissioner, he wants
On
us,
what ground?
because Larry
I didn't get.
misfiled papers. He
Allegedly.
filed papers at the courthouse rather than with Jessica. He filed them with a clerk.
But
Just
that's
not
not
the
in
right-
file.
Can I-
Republican committeeman put mine and David Boyd's on the ballot. The Republican candidates, him for supervisor and me for road commissioner, since we had not filed. The papers were lost, and I got home from Colorado too late to know what was going on. So we refiled, we was appointed, but
And he
he's objecting to that.
point, okay.
There's 4 board members, granted Larry Lee isn't here,
No, you're talking about the wrong board.
okay.
That's the township board, which Marvin and Larry Lieb are also on. This is an electoral board
Okay.
that is a subset of the township board,
Marvin could be electoral board, because he's on.
not according to the law,
According to that.
not according to the law.
Why not?
It goes to the second most, the way I read it.
Yeah.
I should have brought a
Now,
highlighter.
well, you got on the board because you.
Right, and that
Man had
is,
recused
that
himself
is,
'cause he was part
that
of the.
is specifically stated in there that the second highest, longest serving trustee is the first man up, first
So it's
replacement.
going down to the first one,
After, no, after that, the way I read it, it's the circuit judge that does it. That's the way I read it. That was,
And he's pretty fast, he'll get you the answer like the next day.
say what now?
He was fast at that in Shelby Township, he got the answer like the next day or the day after.
Okay. In the event that the training Well, it's a lot of reading, but the way I read it, it says it allows for the second longest trustee to fill fill a slot, but after that, then it's the chief judge of the circuit court. So that's where we are.
I got another comment.
Sure.
Can I ask Matt what happened to the paperwork?
Well, you do whatever you
What
want.
happened to it?
The problem is, you don't got an answer.
Convenient.
I mean, if this was the old west, this would be easy to settle.
Yeah, it's not. Unfortunately.
Yeah?
Whatever, no, it's not. Well, that's a wise observation, Butch.
Larry Lee made the same remark when I talked to him on the phone. Hanging needs to be done.
Yeah, no, well, you're being recorded.
Nobody called Larry either.
No,
They called me.
I'm done. Watch these two guys here. I probably should know them both. Okay, I don't.
No, I don't know. They are, I'm going to guess, independent watchdogs who like going around and watching people like me splutter and can't imagine how silly a farmer can be.
Yeah, I'm a farmer. Even though I'm in the same time, I farm too.
So,
We just want to
Yeah, you
know the whole
know.
merit of this.
My name's Kirk Allen.
Who, what?
Kirk Allen.
Okay.
John Kraft.
We're from Edgar County, we're with the Edgar County Watchdogs.
When we heard there was a meeting tonight, we're on our way back from Effingham, or not Effingham, Springfield.
Springfield.
So we decided to drop a little bit south and come out of here.
But you didn't have prior knowledge to the problem.
We got told today when we were in Springfield that you guys were having a hearing over here. We were over there and then here we are.
Okay, so if public comment is over,
Well, I have a question.
yeah, sure.
What's this paperwork that was lost?
Well, at the township caucus, there, and I can't identify the pieces of paper by name, but there are pieces of paper that are filled out that have, well, I didn't make it to the caucus. What does the paper have on it?
It says, everybody's name was here that night that voted. Then it has, I do have the ballots in my room, but they didn't get thrown away. But that don't do any good because the paperwork that supposed to went to the courthouse was lost.
Okay.
Tossed.
Okay, there was some paperwork that was supposed to go
But
to.
anyway, we had, well, you don't have to fill out the oath, but we all did, and, our position, what position we was applying for after we was elected as, nominated. There's probably there's about 2 papers for each candidate, and there's probably 4 that the general populace, had filled out, And then I had excess papers there, and I stacked them all there together. And that was the end of it. By 7 o'clock the next morning, they were gone.
Okay, my next question is, apparently I get not work again tomorrow and go try to find a circuit judge.
If I may, as a public comment.
Yes.
For the sake of possibly saving everybody a whole
That'd be wonderful.
pain and agony. And Matt, this is entirely up to you. I've not read your objection. All I've read is whatever, is this what he gave you?
That's his objection.
Well, we went through this in Shelbyville, and the requirements to file an objection have specific mandated items. And the courts have even said if you didn't put your address on there, it's an invalid objection. That's how
Okay.
critical that issue is. And this paper from this gentleman says that there was no request for relief. If that objection doesn't have a request for relief, it will not survive in the court. If that's where this all ends up, it won't survive. And the
Okay.
simple path is up to whoever filed the objection, I'm assuming is Matt, is to withdraw the objection. But if he doesn't want to, then you go through the rest of this process. But if it doesn't have a request for relief, you can't grant relief. Have you ever seen judges say, hey, I can't give you anything because you didn't ask for anything? And that's kind of what that
All
is.
these court costs come out of like the Holland Twp Fund.
That's a great question. And we've been fighting that very issue
Because if
because,
so, Ms. Fortman could save us all a headache and our dollar and just
well,
with all these.
Well, if it goes to court, I'm not sure.
technically no. And it shouldn't, but it will.
It will, okay.
Because what's happening, this is an electoral board, it's a separate public body created under the election code.
basically our tax money
So,
is gonna go to pay court costs for something that's completely ridiculous.
Well, that's going forward.
if you have to hire an attorney or something, but, and we're still fighting this with the Shelbyville Township, they had an attorney that the judge appointed and said the township has to pay that attorney. Well, there's nothing in the township code that allows
To pay for
to
attorney.
pay for an attorney for a public body created under the election code. It's two separate public bodies. So my suggestion to them was I wouldn't pay the bill, because they went well outside their scope. They can't do anything unless the law says they can do it. And as an electoral board, it's created under election law, it's a whole separate public body. So technically, anything goes on here should not be the burden of the township, but everywhere in the state, the township's picking up the bill. And that's part of what we were in Springfield over saying, you've got to give some revenue stream in the electoral process to pay for these bills instead of putting the burden on the township, because the law doesn't allow it right now. So they're trying to clean it up, but, and I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, it does.
Are we under a time frame to get this done before it can go on the election? I mean, what I'm saying?
to a degree, I think
Well,
to have this hearing is what, I think has to happen within 3 to 5 days from the objection. You had to have this first hearing.
If we have a copy of the objection here, that
I-
see,
You have to FOIA one of them guys for it, or there's
and
nothing
they
to do.
don't have all four of the elements on there. And I watched your video from the Shelbyville,
So then you saw the judge, or
I saw
the
the-
Effingham attorney that did the presentation?
Yes.
He did a fine
study
job.
law for legal laws, the name, the address, and they did not meet the four requirements
Right.
that was on there. So,
Right.
and I picked up a piece where if the objection has already been filed, they cannot amend the objection now.
Correct.
They cannot make no amendment to the objection.
That's correct. And I haven't seen the objection, so I don't know if it has all the requirements or not. I just have what he references. And
I think if there's a copy of the objection here, somebody should look over it and make sure all four are there, because if you get the lawyer involved, they're just gonna say it's illegal.
It doesn't matter, these guys can't do anything.
Why?
These guys can't.
Why?
They've recused themselves. They-
I haven't heard a motion and a vote for that.
Yeah, you should probably, you should probably,
Anytime you have motions and papers in front of you, you have to have a motion and an action and a vote to take whatever measure you're gonna take, no matter what it is.
Okay,
Was there negligence? I mean, again, and I know the answer, but I want to.
okay, I'm gonna take control of the meeting for here just for a second. Okay, Matt recused himself as being on the board.
Should be.
He couldn't be on the board anyway.
Right.
He didn't have to recuse himself because he couldn't be there.
Well, I think I could have.
No, you're part of,
Interested party.
Which is not statutorily objected. You have to object to my presence. I'm saving this all the time because we know that's not fair, and so now we're here. Mr. Chairman, if I would suggest, perhaps the board could take action on the recusals. And I don't want to get off your agenda here. I don't know where you are in your agenda.
I don't either, Matt.
Perhaps the
Thanks.
recusals are in order, as a deliberative body, then you would not have a body.
Okay.
To proceed. That's.
And I don't know how to handle a recusal. I handle your recusal. You're recused. Jessica? So long. Jim?
So long.
So long. Okay, they're recused. Does that work as a, I mean,
They recused themselves, that's nothing you can do.
okay, so there's no longer a board here.
the meeting's over.
Meeting's over. Thanks for your help, guys. Please come the next time.
Now, do you have to live, since the meeting's over, this will just be a
You
BS.
do what you want.
You
I'm
have to
gonna go home
live
and
in
eat
the
supper.
township, be on the board.
No.
you don't.
In the township to be on what board?
Well, I mean,
What,
And
the
that's a-
board that
that's
the
a
judge
load-
is gonna appoint?
That's a loaded answer.
The board that the judge is fixed to appoint to hear the objection?
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem seems to be with Matt. And I don't really
No, he
think,
filed an objection,
I
so
don't
they
think there is
refused.
the majority of his time in
So,
Holland Township.
Whether he, the question would be, where does he reside?
Right.
You know, and if his residency or his voter registration is in the township, then he's a
There's a
resident
difference
of the
between
township.
where you sleep and where your address is.
But from a legal standpoint, the law is gonna ask the question of where you registered to vote.
Okay, thank you.
And the other side, when I said, no, you don't have to be a township, it relates to what happened with the Shelbyville. Since the judge is appointing, it doesn't specifically say they have to be members of the township, it just says the judge can appoint members. And
Yeah, I don't.
Will the judge expect me to come up with prospective members for him?
No, I think he'll gather those